that we need to understand the weight and the significance in prophecy, that Israel is the center of prophecy. And it was, it's confused people for a long time, and it should be helping people see now that Israel since 1948 has been a nation again. And this has been prophesied very clearly, very succinctly in the Old Testament prophets. For instance, Micah says, Israel will be abandoned until the time when she is to give birth. Now, the birth speaks of the coming kingdom. But think about it. Israel was abandoned, and she was lost as a nation from essentially around 70 AD when Titus, the Roman general, came against Israel, destroyed Jerusalem and the temple with his Syrian troops. But now, in 1948, Israel's a nation again, and as Rachel pointed out, the center of so many things in the world that, if that doesn't draw us back to the Old Testament prophets, then we're asleep. The other thing that it says in Amos, it says, I will plant Israel in their own land, never again to be uprooted. In other words, when Rachel said, and they're not going anywhere, they're not. Now, there's some tough times ahead. It's called the Great Tribulation, but Israel's not going anywhere as a nation. And the other thing that I think is very profound that Rachel brought out is, for 1900 years, people have been waiting for this Christ to return as he promised and wondering, well, how come we haven't been able to figure this out, and why isn't he back yet? Well, he will come back at the appointed time, and everything is pointing to this time that I can see. But the other thing that God says very clearly and straightforward in Daniel, where Christ pointed us and said, let the reader understand, this is what God said to Daniel. He said, Daniel, close these words, or these words are closed and sealed until the time of the end. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is the end. Now is the time of the end. It's a very, very good time for you to open your Bibles, examine the First and Second Testaments, particularly about the prophecies, because you probably neglected them in the past. And don't trust in man to tell you what it says. Read it for yourself. Go back to your future.